All right, thanks, guys. We picked up another victory in our daily double package on patreon.com/BrockPage. That's going to put us at 70% in our last 45 daily double picks. We're also picking 64% winners in the college football season on that website. Link for that site is in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, guys, we got ourselves a nice slate of NBA action here today. Happy Friday. The weekend is finally here. Happy Friday. I can't be happier that it's Friday. And we're going to get this weekend started with the Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Orlando Magic. 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Orlando. The Bucks are -4.5, total 215 and a hook. So a half a point fade of Milwaukee and movement downward on the total. The Bucks open -5 down to 4.5. Total open 218 down to 215 and a hook. 72% are leaning Milwaukee, 56% shaded toward the over. Right now, Orlando is plus $1.65 on the money line. Now, the Magic have failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4. They failed to cover against Toronto, Atlanta, and Cleveland. They're in the bottom 5 in scoring and field goal percentage. And they've dropped 7 out of their last 10 head-to-head matchups with Milwaukee, if you're into historical trends. Now, the Bucks have successfully covered the number in 2 out of their last 4. They're averaging 119 points per ball game, and they rank in the top 5 in offensive rebounding. They're led by Giannis Antetokounmpo, or Giannis, whatever you want to call him. It doesn't matter because the Greek freak is getting the job done. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 24 points a game, 14 rebounds. Chris Middleton right behind him, 21 points a game, 7 boards for him. Now, total-wise, the Bucks are 2-1 to the over in their last 3. I'm going to purchase the half a point, slide it down, and take Milwaukee -4 and the over 215.5 in that game. Next matchup, Rockets, Nets, 7 o'clock, Brooklyn. The Rockets are -4 on the road, total 241.5. We did see a little movement toward Houston in the early wagering. We saw movement upward on the total as well. Once again, Houston's -4, totals 241.5. 69% are leaning Rockets, 52% shaded toward the over. Right now, Brooklyn's plus $1.50 on the money line. Now, Brooklyn just 1-3 straight up on the year, and they failed to cover in each and every one of those games. They failed to cover against Indiana, Memphis, the Knicks, and Minnesota. Now, Brooklyn ranks in the bottom 5 in points allowed per game. As a matter of fact, they're giving up 122 points per contest. Now, Houston on the other side, they could potentially put up 200 points tonight. They're one of the top 10 scoring teams in the NBA, led by James Harden, who's dropping 37 points per contest, 9 assists. Russell Westbrook's right behind him with 23 points a game, 12 rebounds. Houston's 3-1 straight up on the year, 3-1 when favored. They've got successful victories over Washington, OKC, and the Pelicans. And they are 5-0 against the spread in their last 5, taking on the Atlantic Division, if you're into historical trends. Now, total-wise, Houston, 75% to the over on the year. Brooklyn, 3-1 to the over themselves. I'm going to lean toward Houston, -4 on the road, and the over 241.5 in that game. Next matchup, Cavaliers, Pacers, 7 o'clock, Indiana. The Pacers are -7.5, total 212. We saw a half a point move toward Indiana and movement upward on the total. The Pacers open 7, up to 7.5. Total open 211, up to 212. 54% are leaning Cleveland, 57% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Cavaliers are plus 255 on the money line. Cleveland, 2-2 straight up on the year, 3-1 against the number. They successfully covered against Chicago, Orlando, and this very Indiana team. They're led by Tristan Thompson, who's scoring 20 points per contest, 12 rebounds. Kevin Love is bringing down 17 boards a game. That's good for second in the NBA. Now, Indiana on the other side, just 1-3 straight up on the year. They also failed to cover in 3 out of those 4 games. The Pacers are 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 at home at the Bankers Life Fieldhouse, of course, dating back to last season. They've also failed to cover in 7 out of their last 8 games, taking on the Eastern Conference. Now, total-wise, Indiana 7-1 to the under in their last 8, taking on Cleveland. And one more thing to add, Miles Turner is out indefinitely with an ankle. So with all that in mind, I'm going to purchase the half a point, slide it up, and take Cleveland +8. and the under 212 in that game. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for Friday's NBA action. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. The weekend is finally here. Now, guys, before we go ahead and move on, just want to quickly remind you, once again, to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are 70% in our last 45 daily double picks on that site. We're also hitting at 64% for the college football season on that site as well. You can also access my current record for free right on the homepage. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. The link for that site is in the description section below. All right, let's go ahead and move on and get back into some more lines of personal leans. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Knicks taking on the Celtics. 7:30 Eastern tip-off in Boston at the Garden. The Celtics are 10.5, total 214. We saw a 1-point fade of Boston and movement downward on the total. The Celtics open 11.5 down to 10.5, total open 216.5 down to 214. 65% are leaning Boston, 64% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Knicks are plus 500 on the money line. The Knicks are also 3-2 against the spread on the year, 2-1 ATS away from home. They're led by R.J. Barrett, who's scoring 18 points per contest. Julius Randle's dropping 16 a game and also has double-digit rebounds, 11 boards for him per game on average. Now, Boston on the other side, bottom 5 in field goal percentage. And as Canner's out, Jaylen Brown is questionable. I'm going to buy the hook, slide it up, and take the New York Knicks plus 11 and the under 214 in that game. Next matchup, Pistons taking on the Bulls. 8 o'clock Chicago. The Bulls are 3.5, total 216 and a hook. Saw a 1-point fade of Chicago and movement downward on the total. The Bulls open 4.5 down to 3.5. Total open 217 and a hook down to 216 and a hook. 61% are leaning Detroit. 67% are leaning toward Chicago. Right now, Detroit is plus 140 on the money line. Detroit 2-3 straight up on the year, 2-3 against the number. Griffin and Jackson still out. Rose and Morris questionable for tonight's action. Now, Detroit lost and failed to cover against Toronto, Philadelphia, and Atlanta. Now, Chicago on the other side, they're led by Zach LaVine, 20 points per contest. Lauri Markkanen's right behind him with 17 a game and 10 rebounds. Carter's pulling in 9 boards a game as well. Now, total-wise, the Bulls are 60% to the under on the season. They're also 3-1 to the under in their last 4. I'm going to buy the hook, slide it down, lean toward the home team in this one. Give me Chicago -3 and the under 216.5 in that game. Next matchup, Lakers, Mavericks, 9:30 Dallas. The Lakers are -1.5, total 216 and a hook. Saw a 0.5 point fade of the Lakers and movement upward on the total. The Lakers open -2, down to 1.5, total open 214.5, up to 216 and a hook. 67% are leaning Lakers, 77% shaded toward the over. Right now, Dallas is plus 105 on the money line. The Mavs are 0-2 against the spread at home this year. They failed to cover this year against Portland and Washington as well. Now, Dallas is in the bottom half of the league in defensive field goal percentage at home. And the Lakers on the other side, 3-1 straight up on the year, 3-1 against the number. They've actually, they're on a nice little 3-game winning streak as well, where they covered in all 3 of those games. Now, the Lakers have successful wins and covers over the likes of Memphis, Charlotte, and Utah. They were favored in all 3 of those games, laying the points. The Lakers, led by Anthony Davis, 29 points per contest, 13 rebounds. Now, keep in mind, Davis is listed as questionable tonight with a shoulder, so keep an eye on him. But once again, the Lakers, led by AD, 29 points a game, 13 rebounds. Of course, LeBron right behind him, 23 points a game, 10 assists. Now, total-wise, Dallas, 75% to the over on the year. I'm going to buy the hook, slide it down, and take the Lakers -1 and the over 216.5 in that game. Next matchup, Jazz, Kings, 10 o'clock Sacramento. The Jazz are 5.5, total 214. So a 0.5 point move toward Utah and movement downward on the total. The Jazz open -5, up to 5.5. Total open 216.5, down to 214. 69% are leaning Utah, 51% shaded toward the under. Right now, Sacramento is plus 190 on the money line. Sacramento's winless on the year. 0-5 straight up on the year. 0-5 against the spread as well. Marvin Bagley still out 4 to 6 weeks with that thumb. Sacramento lost to Charlotte, Denver, Utah, Portland, and Phoenix. And in 3 out of those 5 games, they scored less than 96 points. Now, Utah on the other side, 4-1 straight up on the year. They beat the Clippers, Suns, OKC, and this very Sacramento team. No reported injuries tonight for Utah as of right now. Now, they're led by Donovan Mitchell, who's scoring 24 a game. Bogdan Bogdanovic has 21 points a game as well. And Rudy Gobert bringing down 11 rebounds a game. Utah is in the top 10 in field goal percentage. They're also top 5 in points allowed. Really, really good defensively this year. Now, total-wise, Utah 5-0 to the under, 2-0 to the under on the road. Sacramento 60% to the under themselves. I'm going to buy the hook, slide it down, and take Utah -5 and the under 214 in that game. All right, next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Spurs-Warriors, 10:30 Golden State. The Spurs are -6, total 225. For some reason, we saw a 2-point fade of the Spurs. If you have any idea as to why that is, let me know in the comments section below. Maybe that's some sharps out there, some whales moving that number. But anyway, the Spurs open -8, down to -6. Total open 226, down to 225. 83% are leaning Spurs, 66% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Warriors are plus 220 on the money line. Now, Steph Curry is out. He busted up that hand in the last game. So, if you guys have any details on that, let me know in the comments section below. But Curry out with that hand. Not looking good. Not looking like he'll be back anytime soon. And, of course, that is not only not good for the Warriors. I mean, I think it's pretty clear where we're seeing where this season is headed. But that's not good for the league. You know, flagship guy, one of the faces of the league. This is not good for the organization. But anyway, Steph Curry out tonight with a hand. Klay Thompson, he's going to be out for a while too. I mean, I think we're all aware of that. I think that they're optimistic that he will come back at some point this season. But if the Warriors continue to go the way they are, why even bring him back? Let him rest. Get that knee healed up. But anyway, Klay Thompson out for tonight. Draymond and Looney are both listed as questionable as well, so there's a chance those guys aren't going to play. Golden State just 1-3 straight up on the year, 0-2 at home. They failed to cover in 3 out of their 4 games. Now the Spurs on the other side, completely different story. Seems like they're starting to click on all cylinders. They rank in the top 10 in scoring, top 5 in field goal percentage, and they are in the top 5 in offensive rebounding. They're led by DeMar DeRozan, who's scoring 24 a game, LaMarcus Aldridge, 17 a game, 7 rebounds, and Rudy Gay, 8 boards a game. Now, just keep in mind, DeJounte Murray is out. He's going to be a healthy scratch for tonight. Now, total-wise, the Spurs are 3-1 to the over. Golden State 2-2 to the over in their last 4. I'm going to lean San Antonio -6 in the over 225 in that game. And we're going to go ahead and slide into our quick pick recap brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. I like the Spurs -6 over 225. Utah -5 under 214. Lakers -1 over 216.5. Chicago -3 under 216 and a hook. Knicks +11 under 214. Milwaukee -4 over 215.5. Houston -4 over 241 and a hook. And last but certainly not least, I got Cleveland +8 and the under 212 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into our shout-outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. I want to give a shout-out to a good friend of mine. His name's Jeff Hartney. He's actually a producer on the East Coast. I've done a lot of work with him in the past. We did a lot of promotional work and commercials and stuff like that. But Jeff Hartney, great guy, providing some just fantastic motivation for me over the past couple of weeks. Good friend of mine, and we've done some great work together. And Jeff, if you're watching now, I know that we will definitely be linking up and doing some great content in the future. But shout out, that's Jeff Hartney, the production pocket knife, and he's a fantastic producer here on the East Coast. All right, shout out to Nell God, 206, B Nugs, Gerald Harris, Sauce Sensei Master Drip Lord. Shout out to Stephen Lewis, Ronnie Christie, Take It Easy. Shout out to my man Hector, also known as IREC. Shout out to AC Michelin, Bo Dunn, Perlo Wisdom, Matthew Hughes, Sean O'Neill, DB's Nation, Blacks Blazer, Terrence Caldwell, Miller Entertainment, Vinny Smooth, Nautilus 1972, Trey Fisher, Aaron D, Charlotte P, and last but certainly not least, a usual suspect, shout out to my man, Mike Wilkerson. All right, guys, that is going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are 70% in our last 45 daily double picks. We're also hitting at 64% for the college football season on that website. Once again, the link for that site is in the description section below. We do daily plays on that site, beginning at just $1.99 per month. There's also plenty of free content there as well, including my current record. Don't go looking for free picks on there. The free picks are right here on YouTube. We don't do free picks on Patreon. We do the free picks on YouTube. But we do have free content on Patreon, including my current record, which you can locate right on the homepage. Once again, link for that site is in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for tuning in right here on YouTube. I really hope you guys enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Friday to you. Yes, sir. Thank God it's Friday. Happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage.